Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everybody. Please take your seat. Okay, that didn't work. I'll just try it again. Good afternoon, everybody. Please take your seat. Second time's a charm. A lot of excitement in the room. Mayor Burgess has arrived. We want to make sure he and his crew have a seat. What a glorious day. My name is Bruce Harrell, President of the City Council, and of course, we all know why we are here. And it is certainly not to hear a long-winded speech from me. Oh, you weren't supposed to clap on that. But you're going to get one anyway. No. We are here to really celebrate a leader, a newly elected council member, and indeed I guess just a change agent. Someone that has spent a lifetime of changing communities, working for others, and indeed such a tremendous addition to the Seattle City Council. As many of you know, Councilmember elect Mosqueda, and I probably only say that a couple of times. I guess I should say Councilmember Mosqueda now, in a moment after she's sworn in, has worked as the political and strategic campaign director of the Washington State Labor Council, AFL-CIO. We know that. We know that she's advanced immigrant and refugee rights, that she worked for health care for all, that she led the implementation of the Apple Health for Kids, ensuring health care coverage for children statewide. We know that. We know of her work in raising the state's minimum wage, as well as the passage of Initiative 1433 that provides sick and safe leave for workers in our state. We know about her own personal struggles as a woman, as a person of color, as a third-generation Mexican-American. We know what she's made of and what she can do. But we're going to hear a little bit from her in a moment, and I wanted to just share a quote with you before she makes her entrance. And the quote is very simple. And I sort of dig one when I'm thinking about certain people, and this one sort of struck me. People are often unreasonable, illogical, and self-centered, but love them anyway. If you do good, people will accuse you of selfish, ulterior motives. Do good anyway. If you are successful, you will win false friends and true enemies. Succeed anyway. Honesty and frankness make you vulnerable, but be honest and frank anyway. When we are no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves. And I share that with you to say that I've already been working with Councilmember Mosqueda on a few issues, and she is just a delight to work with. And as someone that's been in a marriage for several decades, I don't expect to agree with people all the time. It just never seems to happen that way. But how you disagree and how you overcome the disagreements becomes critical to your success. So I'm going to ask that Councilmember-elect Mosqueda make her way here with her family, her husband, Manuel Valdez, a powerhouse in his own right, her lovely parents, Larry and Patty Mosqueda, and other family members, Tanya and Matt Houston. And I believe they have some young potential voters that may follow them in as well. I think one is only 8 months old. And so, by the way, they could hear me, so that was their cue to start walking. And as they come, they can already hear us clapping in celebration. I present to you Councilmember-elect Teresa Mosqueda. Thank you.
Thank you, Council President Harrell.
She's got theme music.
Councilmember Mosqueda and family, it is an honor to administer the oath of office to you this evening. Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Teresa Mosqueda,
I, Teresa Mosqueda,
swear or affirm
swear or affirm
that I possess all the qualifications
that I possess all of the qualifications
prescribed in the Seattle City Charter
prescribed in the Seattle City Charter
and the Seattle Municipal Code
and the Seattle Municipal Code
for the position of City Council Member of the City of Seattle,
for the position of City Council Member for the City of Seattle,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Washington,
the Constitution of the State of Washington,
and the Charter and ordinances
and the Charter and ordinances
of the City of Seattle,
of the City of Seattle,
and that I will faithfully conduct myself
and that I will faithfully conduct myself
as Seattle City Council Member.
as Seattle City Council Member.
Congratulations.
Well, this is truly an incredible honor. I look out and see all of my friends and my family, our coworkers, folks that I know as friends in life and also friends in the work world for many years. And this is truly an incredible honor. I want to thank Council President Harrell. I want to thank Mayor Burgess. And I also want to thank the council colleagues who are here tonight, our esteemed elected officials. Thank you for your support, not just tonight, but throughout this campaign. And thank you, all of you who are here tonight, all of you for your heartfelt congratulations and all of the work that you put into this campaign. I don't know about you, but this year felt a whole lot different than last November. So thank you for your vote, thank you for your trust, and thank you for your hard work. I'm incredibly humbled and I am incredibly grateful to be your next citywide Seattle City Council member. And it took a ton of work, but long before I ever thought about ever running for office, and long before I ever got into this race 11 months ago, we have long been in the streets, rallying and protesting. We've been in the airports. We've been on the strike lines. We have been in the courts, and we have been right here testifying and leading our city, advancing progressive change. And today's victory builds on that momentum and those accomplishments. It builds on the power of workers, organized labor, communities of color, progressive business owners, the faith community, immigrants and refugees, and we have been joined shoulder to shoulder, fighting for greater shared prosperity and true equity, racial, social, and economic justice for all. And together here in our city, we have not only fought, but we have won. We have advanced protections for women's health. We have advanced protections for workers' rights. We have protected immigrants and refugees, and we have raised up the wages for our lowest income workers. We have fought to improve the public health. We have fought to improve the public's health, and we have invested in and lifted up our smallest businesses and our local economy. We have won. We have won on sick leave, won on wage theft, won on protections for hotel workers, won on secure scheduling, and we raised the minimum wage first right here in our region, and that took over the nation. And this is our city. In our city, in our corner of the country, we have not only won, but we have led the nation in these victories. And we did it here in Seattle by working together, by finding common ground and finding commonalities in our struggle. Even in the face of extreme odds and opposition, we won by building broad coalitions, by standing up and working together, and by being thoughtful and often a little relentless. Thank you. And we did this to advance the cause for greater equity for all. You did this. So today's swearing in is really your win. So congratulations to all of you. But I'm extremely proud. I'm extremely proud to have been elected by all of you, and at a time and in a city that is proving what it means to be the resistance. Because Seattle is the last line of defense. We are the last line of defense who are in the crosshairs of hate and bigotry. And we are showing what it means to be the first line of offense, to protect our environment, protect our economy, and to protect our basic human rights. If you just look at this election, we are leading. We have now elected the first woman mayor in almost a century to lead our progressive city. And with her track record of tackling injustice and inequity, I look forward to serving with Mayor Durkin to fight for the rights of all of our residents. And if you think about all of the things that we just talked about that our city council has led on, we are leading the nation because our community is coming together. And it is an incredible honor to be joining this team. To my friend and council member, Lorena Gonzalez, who has shown what it means to stand up to fight for immigrant rights and refugee protections, and to show what it means to stand up for workers' rights and women's rights in the workplace. I look forward to working with you and serving with you. To Councilmember Herbold, I look forward to working with you to create greater shared economic prosperity and to lift up all communities and create opportunity and to hold ourselves accountable to make sure that all workers get the protections that you helped advance. To Councilmember Sawant, I join you in our commitment to do everything in our power to see greater shared prosperity in this city. And to Councilmember Johnson, I remember working with you 15 years ago to create access to schools, safe routes in our communities, and living, thriving communities, and I want to work with you as a champion now to make sure that everyone can afford to live in the city and be safe as they commute. I can't wait to work with Councilmember Bagshaw because we together are going to stand up to fight for the health of our community, to put the public back in public health, and to make sure that our zip codes and our race and ethnicity are not determining how long we live or our health outcomes. Woohoo! And to my new friend, Councilmember Juarez, your determination and drive to fight for our most vulnerable, working with you, I know that together we are going to get stuff done. So thank you. Council President Harrell, thank you for your leadership. Thank you for your steadfast commitment to standing with community. Thank you for making sure that people are at the table and that we are there long after the ink is dry to make sure that we fulfill our commitment to communities. I look forward to working with you to make sure our policies work. And if you give me just a moment, I want to thank Mayor Tim Burgess for all of the work that he's put into this city, for your service both here on council and for your service as mayor, for your time in this position. I know that our city is better off now, our community is healthier, and we are going to continue the work that you've done. And I pledge to continue to work as you have in a thoughtful, inclusive, collaborative, and effective way to run our city. And finally, to Councilmember Harris-Talley, thank you so much for all of the work you've done in just 51 days, is that right? Thank you for the work you've done to raise the voice of the community, to make sure that we have the movement and we have momentum behind our efforts. And I look forward to working with you still to make sure that we have an inclusive city and that we truly have accountability and transparency. Can we give it up for this city council and our progressive city? Mike O'Brien. Mike O'Brien. I'm so sorry. To my friend, Mike O'Brien, who lives just around the corner from me. So you have an incredibly generous willingness to work with me. When I sat down with you, you said to me, will you stay true to your commitment? Will you stay true to your progressive values? And can we work together to lift up our community and hold ourselves accountable? You have shown me what that means, and I look forward to following in your footsteps to make sure that's possible. Thank you, Councilmember O'Brien. So with all of these elected officials, our new mayor, I want to also say we can't do this alone. We've talked about the importance of working with community. It also includes working with our county council members, with county council executive Dow Constantine, with working with our own city attorney Pete Holmes, with our state legislator, and now progressive Democrat majorities in the House and Senate to advance progressive policies, and working with them and champions like Pramila Jayapal and our own Attorney General Bob Ferguson. I know that we can stand up, not only to resist, but to persist, because we know that now, together, we must help to undo the historically racist, sexist, and classist policies that have created the inequity that we are so determined to undo. And I will hold myself accountable to the same standards I've held other elected officials to stay true to the most vulnerable, to stand up and protect our community, to lead with community ideas and intent, and to always push for progressive change. And this has been instilled in me from my parents. My mom and dad are here with us today, Larry and Patty, and they instilled in me the fight for social justice. And my little sister Tanya is here. We grew up in a household where meetings and gatherings were taking place all the time. We'd come to events that looked a lot like this growing up. And they were standing up and fighting injustices in our own backyard and standing up and fighting against wars of aggression. And they showed us what it meant to actually put your life on the line. We grew up in protests and rallies. We had our own handmade signs. We had our own t-shirts and clothing that often had protest rally cries on them, much like what we see today with the kiddos who are now in the street who are turning out to protest with their family. So I want to thank you, Mom and Dad, for leading by example. You didn't just teach us how to fight for change, you showed us how to make it possible. I want to thank my husband, Manuel. Happy 2-month anniversary, babe. Thank you for being a champion, for lifting me up and pushing me forward. You kept me going this entire year. You ready to do this for another 60 or so years? Yeah, okay, good. I need you, so thank you. And this would not have been possible without our incredible team. Aretha, if you guys can raise your hands. Aretha, Ty, Alani, Catherine, Gabriella, Aaron, Christian, and Abbott. Thank you guys for all of the work that you did. It wasn't just them. It was student activists, some of whom are here today, volunteers, the labor movement, the environmentalists, the housing advocates. It's because of you that we won this election, and it's because of you we saw the community turn out. But really, I'm excited about not just the election, but pulling people together and pulling together our progressive community. I want to thank the team that's coming on board with us to make this possible. And if you guys could raise your hand as well. Sejal Parikh, Katie Guerrero, Michael Maddox, Faride Cuevas, and Aretha Basu, who will be on with us. Sejal, how'd I do? All right. These guys are worker justice warriors. They're housing advocates. They're dreamers and they're activists. And if you could give them a huge round of applause for their own activism. So I'm going to end with a few thoughts because this has been an incredible joint effort. It's been because of those of you who have seen us all in action fighting side by side, who have encouraged me to see that serving on Seattle City Council is just an extension of our movement. It's an extension of our commitment to fight for social justice and to fight together to address inequities. To those who voted for me, thank you for placing your trust in me. And to those who didn't vote for me, or maybe didn't vote in this election, I look forward to working with you to help unify our progressive movements and to fight harder than ever to protect our most vulnerable, to maintain our integrity as a city of hope, progress, and inclusion, and to make sure that we keep the left in the upper left hand of the corner that we're so proud of. Because we must be stronger today and more resilient now than ever. We must continue to grow our movements and strengthen the commitment to find the intersectionality of our struggles. And at a time when our nation is all too often defined by what divides us, we must find common ground, build coalitions, and unite around our shared values. Because we in Seattle are proud. We're proud of our progressive reputation and values. But when we fight instead of unite, we yield power and opportunity to those who oppose all that we've accomplished and to those who benefit from wealth and health inequality. And because the fight for affordable housing, equal pay, and healthcare and childcare are just as much about economic justice issues as they are about racial justice issues and gender justice issues, we must all come together now. Some 33 years ago, when I was about 5 years old, Cesar Chavez said at a rally in Southern California, "Once social change begins, it cannot be reversed. And we will today not let our voices be silenced. We will not let our victories be reversed, and we will not let our progressive values be undermined. We are at a critical time in our nation's history. And as you saw in this election, a fresh new wave of people are standing up, rising up, running for office for the first time ever. The LGBTQ community, women, people of color. I am one of them. And our place as organizers is among them. Because who better? Who better to protect workers' rights to organize than those of us who have stood up in the face of fear and intimidation and organized new unions and fought for worker protections? And who better to protect immigrant workers from exploitation and retaliation than those of us who have had our own skin color and our own status used against us? And who better than those of us who stood up to fight for childcare and affordable health care for all, than those of us who have seen our families and our communities and our neighbors crippled by bankruptcy because childcare is unaffordable and health care is unattainable, and those are basic human rights. Who better than us? There is no one better than us. We are the ones. We are the ones. We are in the crosshairs. We are the workers. We are women. We are communities of color. We are the LGBTQ community. We are environmentalists. We are small business owners. We are housing advocates. And we are immigrants and refugees. And together, the best way to fight to protect our communities' rights is by getting us elected, standing strong, and working together. So Cesar Chavez ended his quote by saying, "We have looked into the future, and the future is ours." So thank you for electing this Latina, this woman, this worker advocate, this healthcare justice fighter, because I look forward to working with you on Seattle City Council to fight for that future, to work collaboratively, to work with my colleagues and our community to build the future, to create a more equitable community, and to fight for an affordable Seattle for all. Thank you so much for all you do.